Imagine you're in a room with 7 other people. Everyone is staring at 3 lines on a wall. The instructor asks a simple question. Which line matches the length of the reference line? The answer is obvious. It's line B. A child could get this right. But here's where it gets weird. One by one, every single person in the room says line C. Your eyes tell you they're wrong, but everyone agrees. Now it's your turn. Do you trust your eyes? Or do you trust the group? 75% of people chose to conform at least once. Think you'd be different? Welcome to the Human Mind Daily. Today we're exposing why your brain is wired to follow the crowd, even when the crowd is dead wrong. That experiment I just described, it actually happened. In 1951, psychologist Solomon Asch designed one of the most famous studies in social psychology history. Here's the setup. 7 people in a room were actors, secretly instructed to give wrong answers. Only one person was a real participant. The task was stupidly simple. Match line lengths. No tricks, no optical illusions. Just basic visual comparison that anyone could do correctly. But when those actors started giving identical wrong answers, something incredible happened in the participants' brains. They started doubting reality itself. Across 18 trials, 75% of participants conformed to the group at least once. 37% of all responses were conformist answers. These people knew the answer, but they chose the group over their own perception. And this wasn't just an old study gathering dust. Replications of this experiment in 2026 show the same results. We're still conforming at nearly identical rates, even with all our modern education and critical thinking training. So what's happening inside your brain when group pressure hits? Why does your mind suddenly override what your eyes clearly see? Neuroscience research from 2025 using brain imaging has revealed something fascinating. When you disagree with a group, specific brain regions light up. Your amygdala activates. That's your fear center. Going against the group literally triggers the same neural pathways as physical danger. Meanwhile, your ventral striatum, the brain's reward center, shows reduced activity. Standing alone feels punishing. Conforming feels rewarding. This isn't weakness. It's evolution. For 99% of human history, being excluded from your group meant death. No group meant no protection from predators. No shared food. No reproductive opportunities. Your ancestors who cared deeply about fitting in survived. The ones who didn't care, they died alone, and they didn't pass on their genes. You inherited the DNA of the ultimate conformists. But here's the problem. Your brain can't tell the difference between getting kicked out of a prehistoric tribe and having an unpopular opinion on social media. The same ancient circuits fire. The same fear response activates. The same pressure to conform overwhelmed your judgment. And this brings us to a crucial distinction. Not all conformity is the same. There are 2 completely different types happening in your brain right now. Type 1 is informational conformity. This is when you genuinely don't know the answer, so you look to others for guidance. You're at a fancy restaurant. You don't know which fork to use. You watch everyone else. This makes sense. You're gathering information. Type 2 is normative conformity. This is different. You know the right answer, but you conform anyway to avoid social rejection. This is what happened in Asch's experiment. Participants knew line B was correct, but they said line C because everyone else did. This happens constantly in your daily life. You laugh at jokes you don't find funny. You stay quiet when your team proposes a bad idea at work. You buy products you don't need because everyone has them. You adopt opinions without researching them because your friend group shares them. A 2026 study tracked people's political opinions over 6 months. 43% changed their stated views to match their social circle. Not because they were convinced by arguments, but because normative pressure made disagreement feel unbearable. They conformed to belong. Now, conformity isn't always bad. It helps society function. We conform to traffic laws, social etiquette, and basic moral standards. But conformity becomes dangerous when groups normalize harmful behaviors. History is filled with examples of people doing terrible things because everyone else was. The bystander effect, groupthink in corporate disasters, cancel culture mobs, financial bubbles where everyone buys assets they know are overpriced. In every case, individuals knew something was wrong, but the collective pressure was stronger than individual judgment. Nobody wanted to be the one who spoke up. The scariest part? You probably think you're immune to this. Everyone does. That's called the illusion of personal invulnerability. When people watch videos of Ash's experiment, 90% say they would never conform. Then they're put in the actual situation, and they conform, just like everyone else. Because knowing about conformity doesn't make you immune. Your ancient brain circuits are stronger than your conscious awareness. So how do you actually resist conformity when it matters? First, recognize the physical sensations. That anxiety when you disagree, that's your amygdala. Name it. Say to yourself, I'm feeling social pressure right now. My brain thinks disagreeing is dangerous, but it's not. This simple awareness creates distance. Second, find just one ally. Ash discovered that conformity drops dramatically when even one other person disagrees with the group. You don't need everyone on your side. You just need not to be completely alone. One voice of validation cuts conformity pressure in half. Third, practice disagreeing on small things. Build your dissent muscle. Say you don't like a movie everyone loves. Order differently than your friends. These micro-rebellions train your brain that social disagreement isn't fatal. You survive. People still like you. The fear response weakens. If this video made you think differently about your own behavior, help us reach more people who need to see this. Understanding conformity is the first step to reclaiming your independent thinking. Your brain may be wired for following the crowd, but your conscious mind can learn to recognize when you're being pulled by social pressure instead of guided by genuine belief.